Good morning, River of Life Community Fellowship. It is time for our Thursday edition of Sunday School, where we have a short daily devotion since we can't meet in person for Sunday School. This week we've been talking a lot about service. I gave a message on service this weekend. If you missed it or would you like a refresher, there will be a link in the description. But the main point about service is that we show God's love to others through our actions. By serving others, we show them God's love. And I've been going through the Bible this week and just pointing out times in the Bible when we see people using either their time, their talents, or their treasures to serve God and show his love to others. And today I'm going to talk about Daniel. Now, the story of Daniel is fascinating. Yesterday I talked about Joseph, and I talked about how Joseph was put in a bad situation, and then it went from a bad situation to a worse situation, but he continued to serve. Daniel is similar to that in that Daniel was put into a bad situation. When the nation of Israel was conquered by, or the nation of Judah was conquered by Babylon, the Babylonians King Nebuchadnezzar took exiled the people of Judah to Babylon, including Daniel. And he put these people in places of service, made them servants and stuff, but Daniel kind of showed himself to be above the others. He showed himself to be wise, and he used the talents that God given him of leadership and wisdom, and he used those talents, and that kind of put him in positions of prominence. And through those things, he was able to serve God well and to serve the people that were placed over him well. And he kind of rose to prominence because of it. And he served a number of kings. And then when Babylon fell to the Medes and the Persians, like Daniel was right there again, serving. And that's what we see here as we get into Daniel chapter 6. And this is a very famous story that I'm sure most of us know it. But here Darius taking over Babylon, he finds out about Daniel. He puts Daniel in charge of a few things. Daniel does really well. Darius puts Daniel in charge of pretty much everything. And people are jealous of Daniel because of it. They say, who is this guy that he is in charge? Like, who is this guy? And so they work to get rid of him. And so they set up this plot. Only people can pray to Darius. Daniel prays to God only. And so when he does that, these jealous people catch him, and Daniel has to be punished. Darius is actually hurt because of it, because he likes Daniel. He likes what Daniel does. Daniel has served him well and gained favor in Darius's eyes, but Darius made this law that he can't go back on, so he has to throw Daniel into the lion's den. And we all know the story. God protected Daniel. God protected Daniel very well. And then after that, when Daniel was brought out, and Darius saw this, he praised God. And I think that is just kind of one of the coolest things. This is what we read in Daniel 6 verses 25 through 28. Then King Darius wrote to all the peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in all my royal dominion people are to tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be to the end. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. And so what we see here is, like, God had given Daniel talents. And so just like Joseph, Daniel used those talents to serve, even in a hard situation, even being in exile. He used those talents to serve. And then through that, God blessed not only Daniel, but also the people that he served. And so God's blessings flowed through Daniel's service. And as God moved history along from the Babylonians to the Persians, and Daniel went through this all, he continued to serve, and God continued to bless him. And then through his service, ended up being a bad thing, became a worse thing. He got thrown into the lion's den, but God protected him. And because Daniel had served Darius well, it gave Darius an affection for Daniel, that when Daniel was saved, Darius could see that the God of Daniel was the God of all gods. that he was the greatest of gods. And from that came a proclamation of God's strength and power that went throughout the entire kingdom of the Persians. Like, so Daniel's service, first of all, allowed him to show God's love and power to Darius, but then also allowed Darius to see God's power and then spread that throughout all of the Persian kingdom. And so that's one of the really cool things, that service shows God's love and power. And so my encouragement to you today is to serve, just to find to find the way that God created you to serve, and serve in that. Like, no matter what it is, just serve in that. And then through that, God will not only bless you, he will bless the people that you serve. And then, like, sometimes bad things will happen, just like they happened to Darius, but God's love will be shown. God's love will be spread through your service. And so that's my encouragement to you today. Serve God. I hope and pray that as you're able to get into the Word, that you're able to connect to God in prayer, that you're focusing on the spiritual disciplines, and that God is able to lead and guide you because of that. And then you're able to serve, and through your service, God's glory and love are shown. I hope and pray that you get to see that this week, and I'm excited that at the end of this week, at the beginning of next week, we actually get to see each other in person. So just stick with the Word of God, seek God, and serve him in any way that you can. Thanks, and God bless.